I'm not marrying a safe option. She laughed at my proposal, so I took the ring back. Now I have a fiancé who said yes, while she can't even get a text back. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I'll be honest, I wasn't the most exciting guy in the room, but I always thought I was the steady one. I wasn't flashy. I didn't have wild stories from trips to Ibiza or a motorcycle in my garage. But I showed up. Every single time. I grew up watching my dad work 2 jobs and still come home every night to eat dinner with my mom. He wasn't rich, but he was dependable. That stuck with me. When I started dating Claire, I wanted to be the same kind of man, stable, reliable, someone who builds rather than gambles. Claire was different for me. She was the kind of girl who loved being the center of attention. Big laugh, big presence, always making plans with 10 people at once. Where I was cautious, she was impulsive. Where I saved, she spent. Honestly, I liked that about her in the beginning. She pulled me out of my shell. I thought maybe I grounded her while she pushed me to live a little. For 4 years, I thought we balanced each other out. I paid for most of our rent because she was still finishing her master's degree. I covered vacations, dinners, little surprises. Nothing extravagant. I wasn't rolling in cash, but I budgeted carefully. I didn't complain. I wanted her to have the time to finish school without drowning in debt. I skipped buying a new car so we could afford trips together. I passed on nights out with coworkers because I was setting money aside. In my mind, I was investing in us. We'd talked about marriage before, or at least I thought we had. She dropped hints about rings she liked, about what kind of wedding she wanted someday. Nothing concrete, but enough for me to believe we were moving toward the same finish line. So, when she graduated and landed her first real job, I thought, this is it. We're in a good place now. We've made it through the hard part. I spent 3 months saving for a ring. Not the biggest diamond in the world, but something classic, elegant, something she'd like. I picked out a spot for the proposal, the park where we had our first real date. There's a little lake, and in the evenings the lights from the city reflect on the water. Cheesy. Maybe. But it felt meaningful. I remember sitting in my car with the ring box in my pocket, my hands sweating against the steering wheel. I had run through 100 versions of what I'd say. None of them felt perfect, but I figured sincerity mattered more than some movie speech. All I wanted was for her to know, really know, that I loved her, that I was committed, that I was offering her not just a ring but a future I had been building quietly, piece by piece, for us. That night, I walked up to the park with my heart pounding, trying to keep my smile steady. Claire was already there, sitting on a bench scrolling through her phone. She looked up, gave me that grin that had hooked me years ago, and for a moment I let myself believe this was going to be one of those life-defining memories people tell their kids about. I had no idea how wrong I was. I'd planned the whole thing out in my head. Walk her over to the lake, say something heartfelt, drop to one knee. Not original, sure, but personal. So we walked along the path. I tried to calm my nerves by talking about little things, her job, how she was adjusting, how proud I was of her. She nodded along, barely half listening, her eyes darting between her phone and the ducks in the water. When we reached the spot I'd picked, I stopped. My palms were sweating so badly I thought I'd drop the ring box before I even opened it. Claire, I said, taking a deep breath, we've been through a lot together, and I can't imagine my life without you. You make me better. You challenge me. You make me laugh. You make me want to build something real. So, I pulled the box from my pocket and got down on one knee. Her reaction was immediate, and not at all what I expected. She laughed. Not a nervous laugh. Not a shocked laugh. A loud, dismissive, almost mocking laugh. The kind of laugh you hear when someone tells a bad joke. Oh my God, she said, shaking her head. You're serious? I froze. My heart dropped straight to my stomach. Yeah, I said quietly. I'm serious. She smirked, still half laughing. You actually think I'm going to say yes to this? She gestured at the ring box like it was offensive. I stood up slowly, trying to process what was happening. Claire, what do you mean? Her expression hardened. I mean, I'm not marrying a safe option. You're fine. You're stable. You're predictable. But that's not what I want. I don't want to settle down with someone boring. I want passion. I want risk. I want to live. The words hit me like bricks. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. She kept going. You're the guy women date when they're tired of drama. The guy they keep around because he's reliable. But I'm not ready to play house with a man who thinks saving up for a used car is romance. I finally managed. So you've been with me all this time, what? Just waiting until something better came along. She rolled her eyes. Don't be dramatic. Look, you'll never do better than me. That's just the truth. But I can definitely do better than this. She flicked her eyes at the ring like it was a cheap trinket from a vending machine. For a moment, I just stood there, stunned. Everything I'd built up in my head about this night, gone in seconds. I half expected her to backpedal, to laugh it off, to say she was kidding. But she didn't. She was dead serious. I closed the ring box and slipped it back into my pocket. My voice was steady, calmer than I felt. Thank you, I said. She blinked. For what? For being clear. She frowned, clearly expecting me to argue, to plead, to at least try to convince her. When I didn't, her face twisted in irritation. That's it. You're just going to walk away. I looked at her one last time. You made your choice. I heard you loud and clear. And then I turned and left. I didn't run. I didn't slam anything. I just walked back to my car with her voice echoing behind me. Boring, safe, predictable. I think the calmness bothered her more than anything else. Driving home that night felt surreal. The ring in my pocket felt heavier than the steering wheel. I kept hearing her laugh, sharp, mocking, like it had been seared into my brain. I'd imagined so many versions of that night. Her crying, saying yes, hugging me, calling her mom, making plans. I'd never once pictured her looking me in the eye and saying I was too safe to marry. When I walked into my apartment, I set the ring box on the counter and just stared at it. I don't cry easily, but I'll admit my chest felt like it was caving in. I sat there in the dark for a long time, trying to wrap my head around how 4 years of loyalty and sacrifice could be reduced to predictable. The next morning, I didn't text her. I didn't call. I didn't even check if she'd tried to reach me. At work, my coworkers asked if I was okay. I just said I didn't sleep well. By day 3, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Claire. I didn't mean it like that. Can we talk? I stared at the screen. Part of me wanted to believe her, that maybe it was nerves or shock or some stupid defense mechanism. But I could still see the look on her face. She hadn't been panicked. She hadn't been confused. She'd been smug. Certain. I put the phone down and didn't reply. 2 days later, I think I overreacted. I was just surprised. Can we start over? No apology. No acknowledgement of the things she'd actually said. Just a soft backpedal, like she could erase it by pretending it wasn't that bad. I left it on read. After a week, I got a longer one. Look, you know I care about you. I just don't know if I'm ready for marriage yet. That doesn't mean I don't want you in my life. Don't throw away what we have. That one almost got me. For a second, I felt the familiar pull, the desire to fix things, to make it work. But then I pictured myself kneeling by the lake, hearing her laugh, hearing you'll never do better than me. I turned my phone off. The silence turned into clarity. I went to the gym for the first time in months. At first it was just to burn off the restless energy, but I kept going. The routine felt good. The soreness gave me something tangible, something to measure other than my thoughts. I started cooking for myself instead of grabbing takeout. I lost some weight, gained some confidence. Work picked up. I volunteered for projects I would have avoided before. Colleagues started noticing. I even got a raise a few months later. Little by little, the pain dulled. The ring stayed in its box, tucked in the back of a drawer, but it no longer haunted me. It became a reminder of a bullet dodged. Claire's name came up sometimes through mutual friends. At first, people tiptoed around it. Eventually, they stopped bothering. I didn't ask, and they stopped telling. But every now and then, another text would slip through. I miss you. We were good together. You'll never find anyone who cares like I do. I never responded. What surprised me most wasn't how angry I was. It was how quickly the anger faded into nothing. Just silence. Like she was already fading into the background of a life I didn't want anymore. I wasn't chasing. I wasn't begging. I wasn't even waiting. I was just moving forward. Months passed. I didn't see Claire, but I didn't have to. Mutual friends talked enough. Apparently, she'd started dating a guy from her new job. He was flashy, expensive watch, fast car, loud personality. Exactly the passion and excitement she said she wanted. At first, she paraded him around. Social media was full of posts, nights out at bars, rooftop photos, hashtags about living life to the fullest. I ignored it, deleted, muted, moved on. But gossip has a way of finding you. One night, a friend from college texted me. Dude, Claire's new guy? He's already cheating on her. With someone in their office. Whole place knows. I didn't reply. I didn't feel triumphant. Just unsurprised. A month later, another update. She dumped him after finding out he was also engaged to someone else. Messy. Public. She'd gone quiet on social media after that. But the texts to me started up again. I made a mistake. I see that now. You were always good to me. I didn't appreciate it. Can we just talk? Please. I didn't respond. When silence didn't work for her, she switched tactics. Wow. So you think you're too good for me now? You're not. I bet you're still single. Nobody else is going to put up with boring. It was like watching a mask slip. The same smugness from the night at the lake, now tinged with desperation. I kept my phone on silent and kept going to the gym. My bench numbers went up. My savings account grew. For the first time in years, my life felt like it was truly mine. Then came the mutual friend drama. At a barbecue, someone said, "Claire was asking about you." I shrugged. Oh, yeah, she kind of hinted she wants another chance. I sipped my drink. That ship sailed. They laughed. Good answer. The truth was, I didn't hate her. I didn't wish her misery. I just didn't care anymore. She'd become a story I used to be part of. Nothing more. But life has a sense of irony. About a year after the proposal disaster, I met someone. Emma. She wasn't loud, or flashy, or dramatic. She was thoughtful. She listened. She laughed at my dry jokes. She didn't roll her eyes at stability, she valued it. And when things got serious, I didn't hesitate. I proposed again, this time in a quiet moment at home, no audience, no grand setup. She cried. She said yes. She hugged me so tight I thought my ribs would crack. That moment erased whatever bitterness I'd been holding on to, which made what happened next even sweeter. A few months into my engagement, a mutual friend invited us to their engagement party. I didn't think twice. Emma and I went together, excited to celebrate. The room was full of familiar faces. Laughter, champagne, music. And then I saw her. Claire. She spotted me almost instantly. Her eyes flicked to Emma, then back to me, widening when she noticed the ring on Emma's finger. She made her way over, drink in hand, smile plastered on like she was walking into an interview. Wow, she said, her voice sugary sweet. You look different. Gym's paying off. I nodded politely. Good to see you. Her eyes darted to Emma again. And this must be? This is Emma, I said, sliding an arm around her. My fiancée. For a split second, her face cracked, just enough to show the bitterness underneath. But she recovered quickly. Engaged already? She asked, with a laugh that didn't reach her eyes. Wow, didn't waste any time, huh? I shrugged. When you know, you know. Claire tilted her head, forcing a smile. Don't you think it's a little fast? I mean, after what happened with us. I cut her off, calmly. There is no us anymore, Claire. Haven't been for a long time. Her smile faltered. I guess I thought maybe we needed time apart. You know, to figure things out. Maybe now. Emma excused herself politely to grab another drink, leaving me alone with Claire. That's when Claire dropped the act. You really think she's better than me? She snapped, her voice low. She's not even prettier. You're making a mistake. I looked her straight in the eye. Maybe, but unlike you, she doesn't see me as a mistake. Her mouth opened, then shut again. No comeback. Just silence. I gave her a small nod, polite as ever. Take care of yourself, Claire. Then I walked back to Emma, who slipped her hand into mine without a word. Behind us, I could feel Claire's eyes burning holes in my back. But it didn't matter. She was irrelevant. I wasn't the safe option anymore. I was just someone she lost, and someone who didn't care enough to look back. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.